Hey guys, Falarwas here. I just wanted to make a quick video clearing up how the new jungle pets work with regards to experience, because, well, pretty much no one knows how they actually work. If you are a high level or pro jungler and you think you know what I'm referring to, watch this video anyway because I promise you there's more. So, up front, jungle pets give bonus experience whenever you kill a large monster. Last patch that was 75, and in 13.3 that's being bumped up to 80. This is working as intended. But there is another component to jungle pet EXP, and that's the EXP that you get from lane minions. You can see here in the patch 12.22 notes, junglers will only gain 75% experience from lane minions before their first pet evolution, unless the jungler is behind the average game level. But there's two things that are very important to know here. First, this debuff is actually permanent. It does not go away after your first pet evolution, it lasts the entire game. So you have to be very careful when deciding whether or not to split for side lane waves, as generally speaking, it is better to funnel them into your laners when possible. Of course, this isn't pleasant for junglers, but it is sort of understandable given that laners also get reduced golden XP from jungle camps this season. I think the reason this wasn't on the patch notes was because it was initially a bug, but the impact of the jungle role ended up being a bit too high anyway, so it didn't make too much sense to pull it back. If I'm not mistaken, the plan is to formalize this change soon, but don't quote me on that, since it definitely could still get changed. Either way, for patch 13.3, you should just be aware that the penalty is permanent and play accordingly. The second thing to know is that the stated threshold for when the penalty is removed isn't completely accurate. It is not actually based on the average game level. This might sound a bit convoluted, so bear with me. The threshold is actually based on the average of the 4 highest levels on the enemy team minus 2. It does not take into account your team, and it does not take into account the lowest level on the enemy team. So for example, let's say the enemy team levels are 11, 10, 10, 9, and 8. The average of their 4 highest levels would be 10. Subtract 2, and we have 8. Therefore, if you are a level 8 jungler, you will not be receiving the minion EXP penalty. If you level up to 9, you will. Now this does kind of line up with being behind the average game level in most cases, which I'm pretty sure is why Riot simplified it for the patch notes, so everybody could easily understand it. But if you're a pro player, you need to know how it actually works. You might think by looking at the game levels that you're a bit under the average, so the penalty shouldn't apply to you. In reality, in some cases it might. For example, let's consider the following levels. The solo laners are level 11, their junglers and AD carries are level 9, and the supports are level 8. The game's average level would be 10, so as a level 9 jungler, you might not expect to get penalized if you followed the patch notes. If you average the top 4 champions on either team, you would still get 10, but with the actual threshold of that average minus 2, both junglers would actually still be in the penalty range. This might not sound like the biggest thing in the world, but it's important as a jungler to know how much EXP you would gain if you went to catch a wave versus if you just did a camp. Now, again, I can completely understand why Riot simplified in their patch notes. 99% of players don't look into this kind of thing, and probably didn't even know there was a threshold to begin with, let's be honest. So it wouldn't really make sense to stick a big formula into the patch notes. But again, if you are a high-level jungler, it can only help to know more. I hope this video clears things up for everyone. If you like this content and want to see more, feel free to like and subscribe. As always, a big thank you to my patrons for helping to make this channel possible.